Okay.
I think when I used all.
Okay, so what did you see these teachers do effectively?
Well, I noticed all three of them were, like, they were walking around, but their, like, main spot was, like, not even, like, in front of everyone, like, in the middle. It was kind of, like, in the corner, like, in the front, but kind of in the corner. And then walking around based off of who was talking, or who the speaker was. Two of them had all the students track the speaker no matter who it was. In the first video, she had the students repeat back almost everything she was saying. And when one of the students he had his chair pushed away, she like roped him back in. And there was another teacher too, but they had all these hand signals and all the students knew what they meant. In the second video, he didn't even have to talk very much. He was just using the hand motions to give direction. He wasn't even using a lot of words. What else? Call and response. Positioning in the room, students repeat back, rope student back in. Oh, after she ropes the student back in, she makes sure to praise him, tell him good job. In the second video, he says, all I should hear is, instead of saying I shouldn't hear this and this and this, hand motions to bring them back, doesn't use a lot of words. In the third video, the students stand, they're constantly tracking the speaker. He's walking away from the student that's talking, so he can be near whoever he needs to stand by to make sure they're following along. And yeah, that's all I had.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you more specific questions about the videos then. So in thinking about the primary classroom, when she went over and touched that student on his back twice, and then like you said, she roped that other student in like this, how does that impact those two students?
Well, she's not like, they're not feeling like they're in trouble. Like, she's not making them feel bad, and she doesn't sound like a nag.
Right.
So it's like it's more on the positive than, like, focusing on the positive than the negative. Like, this is what I need you to do now, instead of stop doing what you're doing.
So that will be like least invasive. So instead of me saying, Emily, be quiet, I'm just gonna tap you on the shoulder. Two completely different things that elicit two completely different responses from our students. Okay, and so then what impact did that have by her just touching that student and roping that other student in? What impact did that have on the whole class?
I mean, it didn't give them any chance to talk back or disrupt. I mean, it brought them right back, so then they were able to quickly, like, continue. Like, it wasn't even like a pause. It was like
no time wasted.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so then for Patrick Pastor, and I think that was everybody's favorite teacher, but he always waited for 100%. And just like the primary teacher, he had like a count as well, you know? I also had a count with my 8th graders. It's a thing that students are able to follow along with. They know numbers, they can follow along with numbers, and they know what a countdown means. They know when you're about to get to 0 or when you get to 3, they should have accomplished whatever it was they were supposed to accomplish. So he waited for 100%, and then, so his instructions were what?
like short and clear.
Sure, it was about ripping the paper. So then when those students raised their hand and asked a question, why didn't he answer their question?
It wasn't time for questions yet.
It was not time for questions. What else?
He just was continuing on with what he was
But
doing.
what happens if I'm giving some directions, I'm in the middle of giving my directions, we're getting ready to go to the next task, and what happens when I stop to answer your question?
It pauses for everyone, and then I'm having to put my focus on one kid, and other kids can start getting off task.
Exactly. Or it makes, oh, Miss Dandie just answered Emily's question. She can answer my question too. Oh, and then she can answer my question. So it's just a domino effect of being completely off task and wasting instructional minutes. You know, nope, not right now. Because that's not what we're doing right now. Right now, we're getting ready to put these papers up so we can go to book club. I don't care about anything else. That's what's happening in this moment. So put your hand down, right? Just like that. Nope. Let's see. And then for the last teacher, like you said, like, yes, there was a student talking, but no matter what student was talking, that teacher went in the area where he knew there will be possible disruptions, right? And everybody should be tracking the speaker. So you're not looking at me, you are tracking the speaker. And then did you notice when 2 times when one student was answering the question, another student would raise their hand? And what did he do?
Made them put it down.
Yep, right back down. Nope, let him do it. You know, and I think about, you know, the kids on the carpet interrupting each other and like, no, this is the person who has the floor. You are tracking the speaker. Your hand is down. Your mouth is off. We are listening. Okay. So then, let's see. What do you think the teachers did to get their classrooms?
They probably
Okay.
took the first like 2 months of school and just went over and over and over and over the procedures until it was just like second nature to them, and then those teachers didn't have to work as hard the rest of the year.
Or they worked hard still, but there was no instructional time that's been wasted, right?
Right.
And so how does all of that impact student culture, the culture of the classroom?
I mean, it makes it all about the learning for them, like, and I mean, there's no time for students to be like saying mean things to each other or doing things they're not supposed to be doing. Like, everybody's on task.
Okay, so now before we get into your observation or your video, what do you think some gaps in your management might be, or your radar?
I think it's just the radar. Like, okay, so I have ADHD, so
Are you
I get,
diagnosed with
yes, I take medicine for it too. So I get distracted really easily and hyper focused. So it's like something I really, really need to work on. But having that radar and knowing what's going on around me has always been something that's challenging for me. So I've been trying to like position myself in places where I can see all the students at once, but I know like I still need to, I notice myself like sometimes I'll have my back turned and I'm like, wait, no, I need to stand not that way. But I've been trying to notice it more and more. But I think it's still something I need to work on.
Okay, so you said you sometimes have your back turned to other students. What else about your radar, thinking about these videos and what you named the teachers doing, what other gaps do you think there might be when we watch your video?
Well, I don't have the students tracking each other when they're talking. I definitely don't have them repeat things back enough. And it's a lot of like negative, like I'm calling out kids, you're this is what you're doing right now, this is wrong, stop doing that, instead of this is what I need you to do. Or being able to just look at them or tap them and then bring it back.
All right, good. Let's go ahead and get into your video. And as you're writing, or as we're watching, I want you to name, what your gaps are. So based on the things that we've saw these teachers do, having the teacher touch a student, having the student rope the student, or having the teacher rope the students back in, seeing the teachers, just use hand signals with the students, and not having to say anything. Because if you notice, you didn't hear the teachers giving any reprimands, none at all. It was all nonverbal, So yeah, let's pay attention to that.
Milani, what's another one? And, very good, Milani.